What's going on in the world? I'd like to touch on some of the things that have happened.
Last time we were in there was on Wednesday.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan died.
I said Hulk Hogan died.
You know, he also did all the steroids for 13 years or more. And I think that probably back then when they were doing all that stuff, that puts a strain on your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
Big dog. A lot of these guys, they're doing a lot of roids and they're not really with a doctor.
I don't know if we can chalk it up to roids. It's just they do so much with their body. Homicides, suicides count for 20% of the deaths. Wow.
20%? Fuck. That's got to be chalked up to CTE, I guess. Or just whatever.
No.
The Brendan Schaub saga continues this week with the sad realization that maybe his attitude towards his mind and body is taking years off his life rather than adding them on. This is something I've spoken about on this channel a few times in the context of guys like Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub promoting recreational steroid use and even doing paid ad reads for unregulated substances, which in some cases have open lawsuits against them, such as Rogan's previously owned supplement company Onnit, which produces Alpha Brain. But there was also Brendan's close encounter with those kratom supplements he used to plug on his podcasts, which turned out to be harmful and highly addictive, forcing him to retract his endorsement and telling everyone about how bad they are. I doubt he gave the money back though. Speaking of endorsements, I have an update on Brendan Schaub's latest lawsuit coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed to both of my channels so you don't miss out. Also, don't forget to check out the link in the description to my Patreon for my uncensored exclusive videos covering the usual suspects. As for your boy's latest realization, before I show you his slow-motion panic attack from yesterday's Fighter and the Kid episode, when it dawns on him that his steroid use and CTE are putting him at risk of a premature death, let me give you some context for why this makes him look so stupid from earlier this year.
How are your shoulders?
Good. Yeah.
And yours? Good shoulders?
Good shoulders. I tore my bicep like a month ago probably.
Did you get it fixed or no?
Nah, man.
You don't have to get it fixed? Is it a small tear?
Yeah, it's small tear.
Oh, okay.
I've just been injecting
BPC?
peptide. You
Yeah.
name something. Just
Oh, yeah.
Dude. I started taking blue scorpion venom.
What?
Yeah, some scorpion
what are you
venom.
doing?
Some I don't know. Name something.
What you
The brand name is Venom or actual
It's
Venom?
blue venom. They take venom and then
From
put
who? Like a
peptides with it.
snake?
What?
From a fucking scorpion.
Oh, shit.
What
Sick
the
name,
hell,
at least.
dude?
Yeah, they milk scorpions, dog.
Reminds me of a shark
Scorpion
cartilage.
jizz.
Dude, I couldn't lift 3 weeks ago. Who
Blue
knows?
Scorpion did it for you?
I don't know. That's the thing. I take so much I don't know.
On the muscle? You put it under your tongue? Like,
No,
what do you do?
you put it under your tongue. Every morning, every night.
Bro.
And I'm like, how much say it take? I'll take double.
Is it? Is there a side effect to it?
Nah, I feel, being
You get
awesome.
poisoned?
Feeling healthy.
Does it make you feel great?
Oh, yeah, I feel great.
Wow. But you're
Now,
doing a lot of stuff. It's hard to
that's
know.
the thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
That's
and
always a
and then I
problem.
stumbled upon, was it methanol blue?
That's not how you say it. What is the actual?
Methylene?
Methylene.
Dude,
Yeah, I take
it's
that.
on me all the time.
Yeah, I take
Do you want some, Gordon?
What is
I
it?
take it 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, I
I think
don't know
you're
if-
supposed to do it 1 a day.
Bro. What are we doing here? I got too much shit to get done, dog. Yeah, this one's
You're
great
like a
from
fucking
Diesel
test-
Subs.
You're like a test rat.
Yeah. When they go, does it work? I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Something's working.
One of them's
The
going to
full
work.
combo's working.
One of them's going to work.
In case you missed it, that was the whole scorpion milk drama, where Brendan actually thought they milked scorpions to create a supplement, and then Brian Callen fact-checked him and explained that it's probably mostly water. And that was the perfect display of Brendan's endless pursuit for Joe Rogan's affection, where he'll try to impress Joe with his willingness to harm his body in the pursuit of Superman-like performance. You know, so he can have the edge over the competition while he sits in his sweaty leather chair upstairs in the storage unit podcast studio, sliding used nicotine pouches down the side of the cushion while squinting at the screen trying to sound out 2-syllable words. This is peak Brendan Schaub. Inject first, ask questions later. Or fuck it, just don't ask questions at all. And I know most of the substances they were talking about in that clip there aren't actually anabolic steroids. They're mostly under-regulated supplements created by savvy corporations who push them out to influencers like Brandon to promote on his podcast that nobody watches. Sorry guys, I'm still recovering from that whole Greg situation. My female AI alter ego triggered some bottled up trauma from years ago that I clearly haven't dealt with properly. But we've all seen both Rogan and Brendan discussing their recreational testosterone use and how much they love it. And whenever I bring this up, it always ends up sparking a debate in the comments. So just to be clear, I'm not talking about TRT. Obviously, there's a place for that if you have a deficiency. I'm talking about guys who take tests so they can get jacked in the gym purely for aesthetic reasons. They're two completely different things. And so when Brian Callen brought up Hulk Hogan's passing on The Fighter and the Kid yesterday, it led Brendan Schaub down a path of discovery and despair.
Hulk Hogan surprised me.
Yeah,
Malcolm
man.
Jamal Warner, what sucks for him is 2 more famous people died.
I guess he had an operation, and I heard his trachea collapsed. I don't know. At the end of the day, what's interesting about this is that he's 71, and you can have a compromise in your arterial branch. You can have an aneurysm that you don't pick up. You can pick it up on a sonogram if you're good. But overall,
What do you
can
die
have,
from?
your vitals can look totally normal, and then boom, it just breaks.
Cardiac arrest.
Yeah, something happens. There's something wrong with the machinery. And look, man, you know how big he was in his prime? You ever look at that? The
Hulk?
stats?
What you mean size-wise?
6'7", 320. Large.
He's not 6'7".
Well, you might have seen him now that his spine is completely shrunk.
Yeah, I think he's gone a few inches because when I met him, he was on heels.
Yeah.
And he's my height.
Yeah. Because
But yeah, he's had all that surgery
yeah,
too.
but he shrunk. But when he was younger, 6'7", he was a tall man.
There you go.
can see
From
it.
numerous surgeries due to wrestling, he's now closer to 6'4". Yeah, like I told you, he's my height,
go.
and he had heels on.
Yep. And then all the surgeries, but he also did all the steroids for 13 years or more. And I think that probably back then when they were doing all that stuff, that puts a strain on your heart,
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Big dogs, plus you're adding all
Hulk
that
Hogan
stuff.
was so massive. What's weird to me is the people that are like good riddance and all.
What?
It's like get the
Good
f- to the left. It's like get
one
the
of the
fuck
great
out of here.
Americans.
Brendan just has to be bigger than everyone else. Bro, nobody gives a fuck that you're taller than Hulk Hogan after a bunch of surgeries and in his senior years. If you want to talk about people who wear lifts in their shoes, let's talk about bald dudes slinging dick instead. Yeah, you thought we'd forgotten about that one, huh, Bupper? But I remember listening to this episode in the background last night while I was trolling Greg on Instagram, and as soon as I heard Brandon push back on Hulk Hogan's steroid use as a potential cause of death, my ears pricked up and I knew exactly where this was going.
Well, so I kind of looked at how many of these pro wrestlers haven't made it to 50. It's pretty alarming. There's something about that sport, and
It's so hard on their body.
yeah, man,
It's so
a
hard
lot of
on-
these guys, they're doing a lot of roids, and they're not really with a doctor. And
I don't know
so-
if we can chalk it up to roids. It's just they do so much with their body.
Well, there's a lot of drugs. There's a lot of
There's a lot of
tranquilizers,
a lot of painkillers.
painkillers.
Yeah, don't say tranquilizers,
And then
but
there's a lot of
painkillers.
steroids and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then
Bring up how many WWE guys died before 50.
It's crazy. Dorian Yates was saying that. Dorian Yates was saying, I know so many people that I worked
Over
out.
480
Damn.
have died before the age of 50.
Jesus.
Damn. Yeah, because they go hard in the paint.
They go hard in the paint. They go hard in the paint.
Yeah, I think they're burnt hard from both ends. And then also the amount of wear and tear on your body doing that sport's insane.
They're also giant men, so
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah, there's not too many guys who are small who get into WWE.
Yeah. And they're so big, but they're probably doing an irresponsible amount of crazy, the big steroids like Tren and stuff. And I think
Yeah, Deccan.
that works wonders on your heart there.
Oi, Brendan, what the fuck is WE? Bro, it's not even a full word, it's just 3 letters. Come on, man, what are we doing here, B? The only thing worse than the amount of wear and tear professional wrestlers put their bodies through is the amount of cope coming out of Brendan's mouth as he sits there in complete denial that steroid abuse is a contributing factor toward premature death in pro wrestlers. This little copium session from Brendan is as transparent as his wife's thirst trap posts on Instagram. He was scrambling through his empty head, searching for every excuse under the sun, trying to convince himself that steroid steroids don't have side effects. That's right, Brendan, they die young because they go hard on the paint. Nothing to do with all the shit they take to stay jacked with low body fat well into their 40s and 50s. And let's not act like he hasn't been around elite athletes before. How is it possible that he's gotten this far in life, competed in multiple sports at an elite level, and it hasn't once occurred to him that maybe abusing your body is not sustainable? Sounds like that scorpion milk went straight to his head. At this point, though, it was all starting to dawn on him. If pro wrestlers are dying young, then what about NFL players?
Isn't that crazy?
A lot of guys.
It's a crazy stat. It really is a crazy
But Chin,
stat.
do me a favor. How many NFL players died before 50? I mean, obviously there's more guys. There's more guys
in the NFL,
Yeah,
right?
but still. Okay. There's
Oh my God.
a ton.
A single study of
300
3,000
3,850.
revealed that those who qualify as obese were twice as likely to die before age 50 compared to their. Yeah, they were just heavy as shit, right?
22% of all deaths were contributed to heart disease. Again, I think the common factor is NFL players, WWE, they're all big people.
Big. And also
We're like-
NFL guys,
We're
they
like Great Danes.
fat. They get fat as fuck. You know, they just do. Some of the like linemen and stuff like that. And I mean, they just get way, way fat.
Heart disease was
Yeah.
the cause of death. Homicide, suicides count for 20% of the deaths. Wow.
Wow. 20%? Fuck. That's got to be chalked up to CTE, I guess. Or just whatever.
No.
All right, guys, let's get serious for a second here. Brendan has nothing to worry about. He's never played in the NFL. But first it was the juice, and now it's the CTE. That slow realization from Brandon that he's got two major risk factors was actually kinda hard to watch. It was at this point that I actually started feeling sorry for him. This always happens with Bubba. Covering this guy is such an emotional roller coaster. See, guys like Andrew Schultz and Bert Kreischer, they lean into the cringe and use it to maintain relevance. But Brendan's just a straight up dumbass. Like, I genuinely believe that he's never really thought about the side effects of his steroid use and all of the head trauma he's endured over the years.
I think it's interesting that some
Hold
people
up.
suffer
Go
from
up, Chin.
CTE
This
and
is
some
wild.
don't.
73.5% of the 517 NFL players' death occurred before the age of 70.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of nuts.
So the average NFL player died at the average age of 60. That,
What?
Compared to
Wait,
MLB 66.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Rates of NFL and NBL. Knowing that NFL players died at an average rate of 59.6. What the dude? That's my age. Damn.
Yeah, but these are big boys.
Big boys.
And you're talking about 30 years of running into
Of just
people.
running into people.
But also like training really hard,
Yep.
like the wear and tear on your body.
Yeah, it tears your body up. Tears your body up. And probably,
I'm
I
surprised-
think a lot of them just gain a lot of weight, don't they?
I don't know about that. But then also, MLB, the average death is 67
That's
years old.
shocking too, by the way.
Yeah, because that's not.
That's shocking.
Might just be athletes in general are dying.
I
early?
think athletes, yeah, but I think that's got to be chalked up to their size. You know?
Maybe.
And I also think that, you know,
Because this is 1979, 2013.
That's
They weren't
crazy, bro.
huge like they are now.
they're pretty big.
What about NBA? I think they're all just bigger people.
Yeah, that's another good question. Let's see NBA. Damn. Wow.
Wow, nearly
in
one
five
in five
Do not live to see their 50th birthday.
'cause
What
they're
are you
fucking
talking
huge.
about?
Risk factors like lifestyle choices, career-related injuries, pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Also, they're just Great Danes.
They're Great Danes. They're Great Danes. I would imagine too, with anti-inflammatories, all the drugs you're taking all the time, painkillers, that's got to have something to do with it.
It's all heart-related.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
Shit.
That's crazy, man.
I wonder what UFC is.
Believe it or not, that actually made me feel kinda sad. I mean, this guy has a wife and 3 kids, and he's only just realizing that the decisions he's made, and in some instances continues to make, have caused him long-term irreversible damage. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Brendan deserves any of the harmful side effects of his steroid use or the effects of CTE. My point is that he spent years bragging about taking everything under the sun, doubling and tripling the doses, joking about it in front of Rogan to make him laugh and to get his approval, But now at the age of 42, he's finally realizing that he's fucked himself. Like, how embarrassing is that? To just sit there on a podcast, biting your nails as you read off a screen, searching for excuses as to why athletes in sports that are known for steroid abuse are dying early. And it wasn't just me that noticed. Brian Callen could see where Brendan was going with all the questions, telling Chin to bring up the NFL data, and then finally the UFC.
UFC can't be high.
I feel like you are going to live longer.
Dude, I did. So Ways to Well has this test you can take.
Yeah.
And it looks for all cancer cells in your body, like before they become cancer.
Yep.
So you donate all this blood and they run all of it to see if there's any, and it catches it before it's a problem.
That's right.
I just got the call before the show. Your boy's in the clear.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Nothing?
But you even though you've never actually been an addict, you went through a little stage where you were drinking and taking Adderall, but you have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
But you've always worked out.
Yeah.
And you've always eaten well.
Yeah.
And you've always, so there's all that, I feel like. I don't know.
Do you have any cancer in your family though?
In my family?
Yeah, aunts, uncles.
My mom had it in her thyroid. All my grandparents had it too.
So it does run your. That's like. You're very lucky then.
But your family's fairly long lived, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma was like 98. Then I was 99, I
Yeah.
think. UFC hasn't been around that long, but it can't be better odds than the NFL or NBA.
No.
It can't be good.
No. Although
I have
they're
3
a little
years to
smaller.
live.
They're a little smaller,
Yeah, it depends.
right?
But not the light heavyweights and heavyweights. They're size NFL guys.
There's some big
they're
boys.
huge.
Some big boys. Yeah.
And they're cutting weight. So it's even harder on your body. So the lighter weights are cutting weight,
Yeah.
which is even worse for you.
Yeah. You're taking some shots to the head.
So Chin didn't end up looking up the stats for MMA fighters, so I did a quick Google to see what the numbers were like, and as you'd expect, it wasn't good. I know this isn't a comprehensive analysis, it's just a Google search, but that's exactly what Chin was doing in those clips there. And what do you know, the main cause of premature death in MMA fighters is head trauma. Credit to Rogan though, he's never shied away from this discussion, and he's done a lot over the years to spread awareness for CTE and the damage fighters are doing to their bodies. But also, fuck Joe Rogan for promoting PEDs and steroids to a whole generation of men, including Brandon. I know so many guys who are on the gear and justify it by saying, well, Joe Rogan does it and he's fine. We're at the point now where scrawny comedians like Tony Hinchcliffe are taking tests while having shitty diets and smoking cigarettes. And it's not like it's a secret. They all go to the same doctors at Ways to Well. I think Rogan even pays for some of his buddies to go down there and get sorted out. That whole Austin comedy scene has turned into the biggest cash cow for all those doctors who keep pumping them full of shit they don't need. And where did Brian Callen get the idea that Brendan's on a good diet? How many times have we heard him shitting on Brian since they moved to Texas for not eating barbecue the right way? Brian will say he ordered the lean barbecue option with a side of veggies, and Bappa will call him gay. Like, this is what it's come down to. They've completely revived middle school humor while dressing like Gen Z fuckboys, but have the biological clocks of boomers who drink too much. Like I said, guys like Brandon make it real hard to feel sorry for them. Anyway, that's enough ranting for today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to both of my channels so you don't miss out on my uploads throughout the week. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
Can you just be? Like,
I can't.
Just be and
can't.
just enjoy the day.
Leanne
And
said
like,
to me the other day, she goes, let's sit on the porch and read a book. I go, read a book?
Yeah.
About me? You want me to read my book about me? I'll do that. Am I in Tom's book? I'll read his book. I'm not going to sit there and read a Huck Finn novel.
Yeah.
I was like, I just don't get it.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I've got some classic podcast cringe for you, and who better to bring it to us than two of our best customers, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. But this time it's a little bit different, because instead of Tom attacking his fans for getting bored of him bragging about his houses, cars and watches, Bert found himself on the receiving end of a Tom Segura pep talk. Remember? You just got to change your attitude, bro. So it started yet again with Bert turning the podcast into a therapy session. Man, this guy's got a lot of problems. It's like clockwork with these guys. They're so rich and famous now that any conversation they engage in inevitably turns into a discussion about themselves and their problems. Forget about entertaining your fans, right? And for Bert, well, he feels a little hard done by at the moment. He's been working so hard and it's taking its toll on him. So he opened up to Tom about his latest problems in the hope of getting some sympathy and guidance. But he forgot who he was talking to because Tom wasn't having any of it. And so he started to give him the talk.
Like anytime that anyone's with me for any minute of any period of time, they're like, how the fuck do you do it? Red Band told me last night, you know what you need to do? Take some time off. And I was like, okay. I was like, sure, man. And he was like, no, you do. And I was like, I mean this as a friend, but like you have no idea what my life's like. Like no idea. I don't mean that like I'm overwhelmed. I'm just saying like I got a lot going on. And so like
That's
I'm
true.
just trying to keep my head above
There
water.
is a degree though of truth that you should acknowledge in that statement though. Right?
No, I can't take that from Red Band.
No.
I love Red Band. I love Red Band.
Like, let's take him out of the picture. The degree of truth that I'm talking about, that like we all have to have some acceptance over this at some point, is that ultimately, especially if there's tons that you're committed to tons, you do have to remind yourself, and I'm not saying you, Bert, specifically, we all do this, that you are the one who sets the pace and the commitments. It's about the fact that like, and I think you do struggle with this. I have struggled with this as well. It's about like having some no's, like no to this, no to that.
I think
because you prioritize things that way. When you say yes to everything, you're actually saying no to some of the things you give a shit about. And you're saying halfway yes to some of the things you care about because you're too spread out and you're too exhausted to do everything well.
No, I haven't run into that yet. I'm achieving at a pretty high level.
And so it was at this point that both Tom and Bert realized where this was going, but due to the severe lack of awareness in that studio in general and the elephant-sized egos behind each man, it slowly descended into a tit-for-tat of who's more busy, who's got more problems, and who's more successful.
I hope people can hear what I'm saying and not just hear what you're saying and go, because you're right. You're right. You're definitely right. I'm not saying I'm not saying
it to be right. I mean, I'm saying it just because I need the reminder too. When I say this thing, it's not about
I would love your pace of life. Well, no, but like, hang on. Well, okay, so like, perfect example.
I signed up for the fucking craziest tour.
Yeah, but my tour's as crazy, and I fly to Austin once a month to do a podcast, and and you're right. I overpack my schedules.
Yeah,
like we all have a crazy tour. You have your. I wish I didn't have a fear of flying. I wish that was number one. Yeah. I wish I didn't have a fear of flying. I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous that you fly home sober and you like look at a paper and you have a coffee on the plane and then you get home and you play with the kids and then you like work out. Like I would love that. But instead I get all worked up when I have to fly. I wish I could get rid of that. For me, I have to have the structure when I'm home. Like when I'm home and I don't get home often.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
but do you ever,
but hang on, the last thing I'll say, and I mean this respectfully, but like you have I hope people hear this right. You have the luxury of being wanted young. Like you have the luxury of people wanting you when you were younger in the business, before you guys had kids, you were blowing up. You guys got money before me and Leanne got money. And we watched you guys I remember going to your houses and being like, holy shit. Like, when the fuck did this happen? And then you go to the next house. I'm like, you're what the fuck? And you guys were very taking it in pace and all that. But I think I got it later. Mm-hmm. So when I got it later, I'd already had 2 kids. They were already in like middle school. And then all of a sudden I got all these opportunities that you got presented from like, say 35 to the rest of your life. I got presented at say 47, 48 till the rest of my life.
I think we're getting to the root of the problem here. It seems that Bert's problems stem from his fear of flying and reliance on alcohol, and being jealous of Tom Segura for being richer and more successful than he is. But hey, let's have a little fun. Why don't we all do a shot every time Bert says, I feel like?
Someone said it to me when we were at the US Open doing the first Fully Loaded show.
Yeah.
They're like, can you believe you created this? What was the inspiration behind creating this? And I said to them, candidly, if I didn't create it, no one would ever ask me to do it. Like, if I didn't do this, no one was going to say, hey, we want Bert. Like, if I didn't force...
So you created the thing you wanted.
I created the thing I wanted. When I started doing social media to promote my shows, it was because no one gave a fuck. And so I was like, I got to make this happen for Bert.
Yeah.
I need to get behind Bert and make this happen. Whereas you have the luxury of, you still, Tommy, have like fucking 20 years of a career to go that everyone's excited to see, including myself. I am on a fucking timeline, I feel like, where I go, I feel like Tupac, where I go.
We're only like 6-7 years apart in age.
I know, but you had a jump on me by another 10 years almost. Like by like another 5 years.
So that you feel like you're working on a timeline right now.
I feel like I am. I feel like I got Fully Loaded. I got I like specials. Like, you're still like 2 specials ahead of me. I'm like, here we go. Like, I got to fucking write. I got to get on stage. I got to do stand up. Like, I feel like the starting gun went off and I didn't hear it or I wasn't paying attention. So I'm like behind. And so I pack myself. Like, I mean this. Once again, I mean this with love, but I watch what you're doing here and at YMH, and it's not just the shows. The shows are fucking awesome, but what you're doing as a business is so inspiring. But you got to remember, I'm just getting inspired. You were inspired by someone fucking 5 years ago that I did not see that happen for. And so then I just started my production company. You've had YMH for fucking, I remember when you told me I'm going to start taking this seriously. And I remember going like, what? Like, the podcast? Like, I didn't get it. So I'm always late to the party. And when I show up at the party, I feel like this is a great analogy. I'm always late to the party. I feel like everyone's been drinking and I got to catch up. And so I'm doing shots and I'm snorting coke and I'm smoking weed. And then maybe sometimes it looks like I'm out of control. But I feel like taking these days off. I wake up going, I'm not doing shit with my life.
Wow. Okay. I think I've got a better grasp of what the actual problem is. Bert's just jealous of Tom. And while I was watching this, I started to get a little nervous because we know what Tom's like when people compare themselves to him and whinge and complain about how he's rich and they're not. He doesn't want their poorness to make him feel bad about being rich. And unfortunately, my suspicions were correct. And, well, the way Tom responded to Bert's whinging and whining turned out exactly how I had feared.
Here's the thing. If you're still mad about this, just know that it's your mindset and you're thinking like a fucking loser, but you don't have to.
You don't.
You can change the way you think, but you have to accept the way you're thinking right now is not going to get you anywhere. You're being bitter, you're being petty, you're insecure, you're not confident, and you can change that, but you have to be proactive.
Fuck. Sorry, guys. Wrong clip. Here's the clip I meant to play. Whoops.
I feel like everything that you're saying makes tons of sense, and I totally understand everything that you mean very clearly, but I think even you just saying it, part of your brain has to also understand that you don't have to view it exactly that way. Like, it's almost like you can see why you're seeing it that way, but that you also get that, like, if you don't do everything in the next 2 months, you can spread some of that stuff out over 6 months and have a pace that is more enjoyable to your life and to your health. And like, I feel like some of that still has to register to you, you know, that you know that it doesn't have to be like this all the time.
It does not have to be like this all the time. And to be honest with you, the reason I'm taking so much time off right now is because both girls are home for the summer.
Good.
And I'm spending time with them and I'm trying to enjoy it. I do have this inner voice that when I wake up, if I don't have like a semi-busy day, like a at least like a podcast, or I feel like I'm not doing anything with my life, where I go, I'm just wasting, what am I just going to sit here? Yeah. Like I feel like I'm wasting my time.
We're the same with a lot of things.
We're very similar.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to realize how similar we are the more we know each other. Because I always thought you were the I don't give a fuck guy. Like, just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and just like, things will happen. And then I see you busting your ass to get deals done. And I go like,
yeah, I definitely give it. And I'm the same way. I mean, Christina's always like, can you just, what does she say to me? She goes, I just get home from a tour and she's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I go, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this. I'm going to go fly a helicopter. I'm going to work out. And she's like, can you just be? Like,
I can't.
Just be and just enjoy the day.
Ah, those damn helicopter flights, huh? Unlucky. So hey, it turned out okay in the end. You know, Bert should really consider himself lucky that he actually received some constructive criticism from Tom, instead of being mocked and belittled the way Tom treats his fans who whinge and complain about almost the exact same thing. That's what friends are for, I guess. And at the end of the day, this really does just go to show we're only as happy as we perceive ourselves to be relative to everybody else. I mean, Bert's making a shitload of money. No doubt he could retire right now and live a comfortable life just doing a few gigs here and there and the odd podcast, maybe just one per week instead of 8. But it's not enough. Compared to his best buddy Tom Segura, well fuck, those helicopter rides, huh? So the next time you come home from a hard day at work, you might have a sore back from heavy lifting, or maybe you have a headache from having to deal with shitheads all day long. Spare a thought for our boy Bert, who has to endure endless alcohol-fueled flights and lots of talking into a mic, sitting around with his best friends while they have staff to do all the heavy lifting for them, and also obviously to laugh at all their jokes. Don't forget, these guys are special. But if you do find yourself whinging and complaining about your life, don't forget all you have to do is just change your attitude. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I've watched it 10 times.
You know, a lot of people don't know how I'm often in battle. Some people consider it, you know, virtual battle, but I heard from a number of the people on base that they have a lot of respect for what I do.
Can I get a weapons check?
Welcome back to another episode of Tom Segura interviewing himself. While we're all waiting for him to address his airport Twitter meltdown, Tom's been off channeling his inner Tom Cruise with a casual ride in a fighter jet, and of course there were cameras following him around, 'cause celebrity. But up until this point, I'd been convinced that Tom Segura was just trying to emulate his Papa Rogan. Now I've finally realized that Tom is actually the poor man's Tom Cruise. Think about it, he's basically like Tom Cruise with less hair, less money, less fame, and of course less testosterone. Almost like a Tom Cruise Light. Maybe even a Tom Cruise Bud Light. Yeah, that's a good one. And I'll tell you what, it should have occurred to me earlier, especially after he appeared on his Side Chicks podcast where he gave it all away.
I'll give you my hobbies right now.
Okay.
So I definitely enjoy like watching movies, things like that, relaxing at the house. I work out almost every day. I would say I'm an auto enthusiast. I like cars. I like going to the track with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting my pilot's license, so I've been flying somewhat regularly. It's hard with the tour, but the tour is over, so I've been working on doing that. And so that's kind of the hobbies that I have outside of the home, which is, you know, you spend most of your time at home.
I think it's funny watching Tom explain to his biggest hobby outside of the home what his hobbies are, and her pretending like she has no idea what he's into. Well played from both sides. They almost had me going for a second. But anyway, Tom was supposedly invited to fly wingman in a fighter jet by a special division of the Navy, which I'm sure came as a complete surprise to him.
So just how this even became a possibility is kind of crazy. I was talking to Ryan Hall, who runs YMH. He goes, I reached out. The Navy has approved for you to go for a ride with the Blue Angels.
Just from watching that short clip there, it's obvious that the Navy got the memo about Tom's latest airport incident. They made sure to hold the door for him, and he even had 2 guys carrying his bags for him. I'm telling you, he's Tom Cruise Bud Light. Anyway, back to Tom interviewing himself. This really had strange vibes. It felt like an episode of The Bachelorette where they get to go on these dates and then get interviewed about the experience afterwards so the producers can edit all of it together so it feels like they're narrating their own date. Except this isn't a reality TV show, it's just Tom Segura's YouTube channel where he narrates his life. But hey, he's the one telling the story, right?
You know, you're used to seeing uniformed men and women in public sometimes, but when you see them in their element together, it kind of stops you for a second. You're like, oh, this is what it really is to be in the military. I get to meet, for me, the man of the hour, which is 7. How many G's we're gonna go for?
7.5 minimum. Nice. Yeah, we'll push you all the way to the limit.
So it was at this point that it got real for Tom. He'd met his date finally, and it was clear that they were both ready to push Tom's G-spot to the limit. So the only thing left to do was climb aboard and hit the danger zone. Cue the music, Maverick.
Should I go for it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Give them hell, 7. Yeah, we'll try. Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, 7, let's go with big dog 2.
Hang on. Let's back up that truck for a second. What did he just say?
All right, 7, let's go with big dog 2.
Bro, welcome to Podcast Cringe. Anyway, I digress. Let's see how many G-spots Tom hit on his hot date with a pilot.
Here we go. Ready?
Just like that, 6.2 G's. Holy dude. Whoa, man.
Wow, okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys, that's actually crazy. Tom looked like he was having a mad time. That's pretty cool. And I guess that's just Tom channeling his inner Tom Cruise. The man looked happy, he's living his best life. That's fair enough. But while Tom was off looking for his G-spots, where was Bert Kreischer?
Oh, I have like a cane. I'm so nervous. There we go.
All right, did we get it?
Did we get it? Not bad.
Ah, I see. Bert was off playing ice hockey. What a contrast, huh? You know, I'd actually pay good money to see Bert fly wingman in a fighter jet. Now there's an idea. But instead he hit the ice with his buddies, and they even made him a nice little jersey to make him feel special. This had mad Make-A-Wish vibes. And what's with these guys always traveling with a crew? They're stand-up comedians. Why do you need an entourage? Oh man, the delusion is real in this one.
Roll my uniform. What's up, fellas? How you doing, brother? Looking forward to the show tonight. Nice to meet you. I would have thrived in this locker room. This is so my energy. This is what I want to snowboard in.
Now, for those of you wondering, both of these videos were dropped on YouTube within 2 hours of each other on their separate channels. I wonder if they coordinated that. At the time of recording this, Bert's had just under 10,000 views, whereas Tom's had over 100,000. Geez, I wonder why.
Find it!
Thank God you guys put pads on me.
There's 2 G's. Ready, hit it, squeeze those legs, take that breath. Hit it, same thing, take that breath.
Oh, same thing.
It's still going.
1, potato 2, potato 3. All right, we're rolling out. Oh, yeah. All right, how's 6 G's feel? Dude, that's dialed up.
Ow! I'm still good.
I got ya.
I'm coming. Did I make it?
No, Bert, you didn't make it. But hey, I'm just glad that Tom finally found all 6 of his G-spots. That actually looked like a wild time, and I'll tell you what, as cringy as I find Tom and all of his mental disorders, it's hard to hate on a guy who's given such a crazy opportunity and goes balls deep into it without hesitating and makes the most of it. If he was like, oh yeah, this is kind of scary, I don't know about this, should I do it? You know, like Bert Kreischer style, then maybe I'd be a bit more critical. But I love how he was so chill about everything. He was happy to give it a go. I don't think he got paid for it either. It seems like the Navy runs some sort of program to drive recruitment. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. Think about it this way. Have you ever seen some rich dude's wife driving his Ferrari with one of her girlfriends to go out for coffee or for lunch or something? And you just think to yourself, man, what a waste of such a nice car. If I was driving that thing, I certainly wouldn't be sitting that close to the steering wheel and driving it like a grandma. It's kind of the same here. It looked like Tom made the most of that experience. And so what if he made a cringy video about it? I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty well made. Whatevs, it's all good. And as for Bert, though, his commitment to the Dunning-Kruger effect was on full display here. I could just picture him talking it up in the car on the way there, saying how he's going to absolutely smash it, it's going to be a piece of cake, everyone's going to be surprised how competent I am on the ice. Yeah, nah, he performed exactly how I expected him to. But hey, at least he can laugh at himself too, right? I don't know what's wrong with me today. I think I'm going soft, but not to worry. I'll be back to roasting these two Muppets in no time. I hope you guys are all doing well, by the way. Just before I finish up, a very big thank you for 20,000 subscribers. For those of you who don't know, this channel is only 12 weeks old, and I started it just as a sort of way to have a bit of fun on my own away from the other stuff that I do. I honestly never thought it would grow this quickly, and I only have all of you guys to thank for that. Your support has been honestly overwhelming, and the sky is the limit, so let's see how big we can get over the coming months. Keep sharing, liking, and subscribing, and we will hit 100k in no time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
When you get caught with your pants down, you're supposed to say, I got caught with my pants down.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. Like,
Yeah.
It's the only, especially if you're public, like it's very clear that you're incorrect.
Well, the irony of this situation is if he just kind of left it, it probably wouldn't have made anywhere close to the splash that it's made. And we told him that. We said, like, hey, Barbra Streisand effect is going to happen.
The money that you thought you were making and the popularity you thought you were making is all going to be spent on attorney's fees. And I don't care if I win or lose. I just want you to spend money. You see? So all this dark energy that you're bringing toward me, I've alchemically converted that energy into money. That's exactly what I've done.
Only Joe Rogan can bring on a degenerate conman into his studio, encourage and entertain his whack theories, and then turn on him after he gets exposed for being a fraud. It seems like Joe's always the last one to figure it out these days. Billy Carson appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience last year in June to discuss his theory of the Anunnaki, a group of alien gods who led an ancient advanced civilization and created us humans to mine gold, which, naturally, Rogan took at face value. Except what Rogan didn't realize at the time was that he was entertaining a mentally ill lunatic who literally sells potions on his website. I'm sorry, did nobody on Joe's team think to check out the guy's website before booking him? It's called forbiddenknowledge.com. So it's safe to say that Rogan's infamous bullshit detector has well and truly been smashed into 1,000 pieces and disappeared from the face of the planet.
It's one of those things where it's very unfortunate when people get caught with their pants down. And I'm not an expert in many things, but the things that I am an expert on, you could wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning and ask me about those things. Like martial arts or comedy, I could give you an expert version of reality. It seems like he does not have that, and he is a wonderful talker, and it's a lot of fun. I like watching his videos. I love all that ancient history stuff, and even the most ridiculous tinfoil hat aspects of ancient. It's fun.
It's entertainment.
But when he was on with you, it was quite apparent that you are an actual expert in the Bible and in many religious texts, and that he didn't necessarily have the facts straight.
Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through all the juicy details of this beef between conman Billy Carson and biblical scholar Wesley Huff, because they actually had a debate late last year after Billy's appearance on JRE. And to say that Wes wiped the floor with this guy is a massive understatement. Wes basically unbuttoned Billy's shirt, unbuckled his belt, unzipped his pants, and stripped him naked for the world to see how full of shit he really is. And as homoerotic as that sounds, it was actually fucking hilarious. In fact, it was so bad that Billy has apparently launched a legal action against 5 people related to this debate in an effort to steal back the narrative and save his livelihood. He's effectively trying to silence them. Seriously, if you guys want to have a laugh, stick around to the end where I go through a couple of clips from his unhinged 3.5-hour rant on a live stream after the debate got published in December. The guy has a full-on meltdown. But we can't let Rogan get away with this. As much as I credit him for getting someone like Wes Huff on the podcast, who's an actual expert in ancient texts so that he can clarify the record and explain why Billy Carson is a fraud, Rogan has a tendency to exploit mentally ill conspiracy theorists just for clicks and then turn on them once they get exposed for all the things they said while they were in his studio. Just ask yourselves, did we really need an expert to tell us this guy was full of shit?
Have you talked to Terrence Howard? Do you know his theory about how planets are created? That it's just things ejecting from the sun over billions and billions of years, and that there's a Goldilocks zone where you can create life.
Right.
And that's where the people are.
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes
Shout out
sense
to
that
Terrence Howard, because I just talked to him a couple hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so we were talking about
That
wave
dude
conjugations and everything.
Me up for like 3 days. I left his podcast for 3 days. I was like, God damn. First of all, how the is he so smart? Like, how would you ever imagine that a dude who's an actor on a television show or in a movie is that smart? Like freaky smart.
You honestly could not make this shit up. Joe Rogan testing Terrence Howard's theories with now disgraced Billy Carson is peak JRE. All we need now is for Joe to convince ChatGPT that we're all lemmings forced into slavery by the Anunnaki, and my 2025 bingo card will be complete. But for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me get you up to speed. Billy Carson's theory is that these ancient deities called the Anunnaki were advanced ancient aliens from a planet far, far away called Nibiru. They came to Earth thousands of years ago in search of gold. Now, supposedly, gold was what they needed to stabilize their planet's atmosphere, cause science, so they came down to Earth, genetically engineered humans out of mixtures of primates and their own DNA to create a labor force to mine gold. Oh, and along the way they passed on their knowledge in advanced technology and science, which led to the construction of megalithic structures such as the Egyptian pyramids.
So the idea is that there were beings that were having wars on this planet. Were they? Do you believe they were having wars with people that were revolting, or were they having wars with other beings?
They were fighting with each other. And evidence of these wars can be found in the book of Deuteronomy in the modern-day Bible. These gods, and I do mean gods with an S, because everywhere in the Bible where it says God singular, it's actually a mistranslation. They were fighting each other over resources and people and control of the planet. And you see these wars in the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the Sumerian tablets. And these wars are just nonstop. No matter where you go in any culture, you're going to discover that these beings, in some way, shape, or form, engaged mankind, brought knowledge, teaching, building techniques, and just so much more wisdom and information, esoteric wisdom, alchemy. All these things came from these people.
The craziest version of this story is that they genetically engineered us out of lower primates and put us here to mine gold. That's the wackiest version of it, right?
Right. That's the bare bones minimum.
Yeah, the wackiest version is that they made us, which is we've talked about this a couple of times, but how bizarre it is that human beings have this incredible fascination for gold.
So the theory goes that because the human race was born out of the DNA of the Anunnaki, we have this advanced esoteric knowledge sitting deep in our brains, just waiting to get unlocked. And Billy Carson believes that certain individuals have been able to do this, such as himself and Terrence Howard. Well, how fucking convenient, huh? Oh, and if you were wondering how he got into all of this, well, it didn't quite happen in his mother's womb. It took him a little bit longer to unlock his Anunnaki DNA compared to Terrence Howard.
When did you start going down this road of exploring all these interesting subjects?
Well, it was a long time ago, 1977 in Miami, Florida. We moved from New York to Miami next to the Opelika Airport, living in the hood. I'm outside in the backyard playing, but I'm looking at the airplanes go over. And this one day, this plane goes over, but it's not really a plane. It clears the horizon in seconds, not minutes. It just goes straight across. I know from as a little kid, the planes take a long time to go from one point to the other. And it went straight across, glowing.
A tic-tac.
Almost like a tic-tac, glowing metal, yes. And then it came back and it stopped right over me, completely silent. About now I can estimate about 250 meters. And then it just went, pew, gone. And I ran in the house and I told my mom, hey, I can't believe what I just saw. And my mom said to me, son, back in the day, there were advanced beings that came to this planet. This is 1977.
Your mom told
my mom.
this?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's why I dedicated the book to her. And so I went to the library at Rainbow Park Elementary the next morning, and I told the teacher I have to go to the library inside the school, Rainbow Park, and I said I need to get all the encyclopedias on space, on aerospace. And she gave me the encyclopedias on aerospace. And that's when I started researching from that exact moment.
Wow.
And I haven't stopped since.
So you were, how old? 8?
7.
7 years old. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You just got locked in.
I got locked in. I'm looking at submarines. I'm looking at hovercraft that existed way back then, flying discs that we had created in the military way back then, SR-71s and all this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell did I see, and I couldn't find it. But it took me down the path of technologies and advanced technologies and aerospace information, and I kind of became a quasi-aerospace historian, and that led me in further on down the line to studying, architecture and seeing a connection between the two.
Yep, that checks out. The local elementary school had encyclopedias on aerospace engineering back in the 70s. And I love how his mum casually dropped that there were ancient beings who visited us thousands of years ago from an advanced civilization. Dinner's ready, come and eat. Oh, and we were visited by ancient aliens. What are we doing here, B? But like I said at the beginning, we can't let Rogan off the hook with this one. He can't have it both ways. On the one hand, he's just talking shit and entertaining these interesting theories with a known grifter who's trying to grow his audience to sell more books and potions from his website. But then he gets an actual expert on to fact check him, and then he shits on him after he exploited him. 2 months before Rogan had Billy Carson on JRE, disgraced comedian Andrew Schulz had Billy on his Flagrant podcast as well, which Rogan reflected on with Wes during their chat last week.
Andrew Schultz and I had a discussion about this. Like he said when he had Billy on the podcast, he said, we're not going to research anything. We're not going to search anything. We're not going to do anything. We'll just let him talk because it's fun.
Yeah.
Andrew's awesome.
The difference is, though, Andrew Schultz isn't trying to get to the bottom of anything or dig for the truth. I mean, the podcast is called Flagrant. Rogan, on the other hand, like I keep saying, likes to play it both ways. He's either digging for the truth and exposing establishment lies, or he's just a meathead comedian talking shit with his buddies. It just depends which direction the wind is blowing. But now that you have all the background context to this debate, let's take a look at what actually happened. In October of last year, a mutual friend of Wes and Billy Carson brought them together for a virtual debate which they both agreed to, even though they'd only been given 24 hours notice. And Billy exposed himself for being a fraud almost immediately. He was literally laying out his basic beliefs when he made a fatal error.
If you want to, I guess, go first, Billy, as to how you came about like the findings where it seems that Jesus was not crucified, or that's not accurate.
Sure. And in my videos, and if you listen to the podcast, the statement is according to the Sinai Bible. Okay. According to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible. And that Bible predates the King James Version of the Bible. And the text there actually is about 12 to 14,000 differences between the Sinai Bible and the King James Version of the Bible, which came much later.
So straight away, Wes Huff's bullshit detector went off and he politely began to dismantle Billy. Remember, Carson is relying on a particular text that he believes to be the real Bible as it predates the King James Bible. He believes that this is where it states that Jesus wasn't crucified, but he was actually married and led a normal life.
When you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes... Okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification. Codex Sinaiticus is at the British Library, so you can go and see it. It's on display, and the British Library has actually digitized the entire manuscript. So I work with manuscripts in my linguistic work. I'm an expert on early Christian scribal culture, and particularly in Greek and Coptic manuscripts. I have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. The only reason I asked for clarification is because I want to make sure that what I'm addressing is actually what you mean,
Gotcha.
and not addressing something else. It's a 4th century Greek manuscript. It comes from approximately between 325 and 350 AD. And its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. And you say that it denies the crucifixion, or that the crucifixion isn't there. I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up the end of, say, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified. And that's in Codex Sinaiticus, or, the John 19, or any of the other ones. So
Wes had a copy of the text Billy was referring to right behind him on the shelf, and as you could tell there, he'd studied it in great detail, and he confirmed the claims that Billy was making were completely fabricated because it was consistent with the Bible as we know it. It was at this point where Billy realized he was out of his depth and declared that he'd misspoken, and he was actually talking about a different document, which, as it turns out, just like Billy Carson, is a known fraud as well.
I found the text where I was referencing. Actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
Okay, yeah. Well, so that's good. So let's deal with that too, because I've actually worked with. There are 2 manuscripts of the Gospel of Barnabas. The Gospel of Barnabas is a really interesting document because it is a known forgery, and so that's why I think it's important to get to these sources. So we know it's a forgery because it does things like in chapter 92, it says that Jesus spent 40 days on Mount Sinai, and then he came to the Jordan River and he walked to Jerusalem. But Mount Sinai is more than a week's journey away from Jerusalem, and neither Mount Sinai nor Jerusalem are close to the Jordan River. So never mind there not being a route from the Jordan River to around Mount Sinai or going to Jerusalem.
So the key ingredient that Billy Carson has been relying to cook with is a known forgery amongst biblical scholars. Basically, everything that came after that was Wes correcting Billy's incorrect interpretation of ancient texts and writings, because that's what he specializes in.
The problem is to really delve into these subjects. It takes a tremendous amount of research, years and years and years of research. You really have to know what you're talking about. Most of us don't.
Well, and especially with languages. And when you study the languages, you realize the complexities of these things. And so when someone hasn't and they're making statements that are obviously indicative of someone who hasn't studied them, it's super apparent.
Right.
And so I think it's one thing to be making claims about, say, like Christian history or the Bible, but when you start to get into like linguistics and philology, it gets messy. And if you don't know what you're talking about, it gets really apparent really fast. When I see people like Billy Carson talk about being able to read Sumerian, I'm like, dude, I read ancient languages and I've tried and I can't make heads or tails of Sumerian.
Yeah.
So
that's a tell.
Unfortunately, it kind of gives away.
Listen, I like Billy. He was a nice guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. I really do. I think his videos are fun. But I also think truth is important.
I have no problem with him as an individual.
He just needs to course correct. You're not doing people a service, especially people like myself that aren't educated in this. Like we turn to others who claim to have a vast knowledge of this to help me out. Tell me what's going on. When I sit down and talk to you, tell me what's going on. And if you don't really know, you're f***ing over a lot of people, unfortunately, for yourself.
I remember thinking to myself when I was making the video covering Billy's appearance on JRE last year, This guy so casually reinvents passages from the Bible and says things like, the Bible has been misinterpreted for centuries. For example, when he said that whenever there's a reference to God, it's actually the plural gods, and that's why we know there were these ancient aliens who came to visit us. They were god-like beings, etc., etc. So it seems kind of obvious to anyone watching that Billy was getting loose with the truth. As it turns out, he had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. And as you can imagine, being fact-checked like that in such a long and comprehensive debate with an actual expert completely ruined Billy's credibility. And when grifters get squeezed into a corner, they do what grifters do best. They grift even harder.
The fallout was that not only did he not want us to release the conversation, but then he started throwing out cease and desist letters, and then he started, trying to sue people.
What was his argument?
Apart from the fact that he was embarrassed that he lost?
Well, yeah, that's not really an argument, right?
Well, the cease and desist letter, yeah. The cease and desist letter said, I don't want you to use my name or my face in anything going forward, and anything you've used up until this point, you need to remove.
But if you're a public figure, he's clearly a public figure. Is that even, can you actually say? No,
you can't.
So for those of you who are interested, here's the cease and desist letter, or as I like to call it, a cease and desist, that Wes received from Billy's lawyers. He's basically trying to claim that he has moral rights over the video, which he never gave consent to. Yet at the beginning of the debate, both him and Wes politely agreed that they'd been looking forward to an opportunity to debate things and flesh everything out together. So it's clear that he gave consent to the interview, which obviously would be published, but like all professional grifters, he took it a step further and potentially prejudiced any pending lawsuits against Wes by doing a live stream where he openly admitted that he was pursuing a slap lawsuit, which for those of you who don't know is illegal in most jurisdictions. It's basically when someone launches a lawsuit for the purposes of silencing or punishing somebody else for exercising their right to free speech. But why don't I let Billy explain it to you?
The money that you thought you were making and the popularity you thought you were making is all going to be spent on attorney's fees. And I don't care if I win or lose. I just want you to spend money. You see?
Yep, couldn't have explained it better myself. But of course, he didn't stop there. He went on to explain how the debate was part of a cult conspiracy to defraud him and tarnish his good name, because for one reason or another, these Christians had become obsessed with him. According to Billy, they were trying to exploit his high public profile to elevate themselves into the public consciousness so they could grow their cult and profit off his downfall.
They have to network with hundreds of thousands of people all over the world to supposedly end Billy Carson's career. Well, they don't realize not only are they not ending my career, they're making me more famous because they call my name out every 5 minutes. I'm on their tongue and their lips every minute of the day. When they go to sleep, they dream about me. When they wake up, the first thing they do before they kiss their wife or their boyfriend, they talk about me. They post me and call my name 24 hours a day, nonstop. They're absolutely infatuated with me.
Oh man, that was spoken like a true narcissist. This guy has mad Brendan Schaub vibes. Instead of walking away and taking the L, he doubles down and becomes fully unhinged. The scary part is how calm and collected he is while spouting all this nonsense. This guy really believes his own bullshit. He's got it all figured out. After unlocking his Anunnaki DNA at the age of 7 years old, he's been channeling all the dark energy around him for his own benefit, just like in Star Wars.
And because of what they have done now, they have created this whole energy field. That's what's behind me now, this flower of life energy. They've created this energy. There's only one force that exists in the entire known universe. And that one force can be used for darkness and it can be used for light. Just like the Jedi. The Jedi will use the force for dark. The Jedi will use the force for light, and the Empire will use the force for darkness. It's up to the wielder of the power. So all this energy that they're in their crock pot stirring up, we're going to attack Billy Carson. We must do everything we possibly can, including making fake accounts, making bots and robot accounts to comment and hate and try to thumbs down videos and attack, and threats against his 12-year-old child, threats against his family. Where are we at now? I'm at 11,499 people. The most I've ever had was 5,000. You guys doubled my popularity on a live video in one day. Thank you so much. All the dark energy, all your listeners and all your followers and all your cult people and all your people that are in your organizations that are coming to watch my video with that dark energy. How are we going to see the fall of Billy Carson? That's dark energy, that frequency that's coming here. You see this behind me? That's the face of God. God's not a man flying around with a magic wand granting wishes. God is a frequency, and it's your job to tune in. Y'all didn't tune in. See, I'm tuned in. So all this dark energy that you're bringing toward me, I've alchemically converted that energy into money. That's exactly what I've done.
Yeah, bro's high as fuck. Just like all the grifters before him and after him, it's always just about the money. And like I said at the beginning, Joe Rogan's complicit in all of this. He can't expect to bring these guys into his studio who are clearly suffering from severe cases of delusional narcissism and then just turn around and say, whoops, he got caught with his pants down. Yeah, bro, you're the one who pushed him out there to your tens of millions of followers, and now you're acting like you are the victim. It's like all those YouTubers who are trying to play the victim card after the honey scam got exposed. I mean, Rogan himself is still shilling for BetterHelp and AG1 on his podcast, even though everyone knows about their dodgy practices and false claims. So it's going to be interesting to see how far this goes. In my opinion, Wes's lawyers should be able to easily get any slap suit thrown out of court without much damage, which will honestly just make Billy Carson look even worse. I'm telling you, this guy is Brendan Schaub all over again. But no doubt he'll still have thousands of followers who won't care, and they'll still keep buying his elixir of the Anunnaki and subscribe to whatever other scheme he's got going. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the whole situation between Billy Carson and Wes Huff. While you're here, hit the subscribe button and make sure you give me a thumbs up if you ended up liking this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
Enjoy your little 100,000, 200,000, 600,000, whatever views you got. Enjoy it. I mean, take your little $20 check. I don't live off of YouTube money. It's peanuts.